Hello, Internet. Welcome to Welcome to the Nerdsmith Power Hour. I was ready. I knew what we were, and I still did it wrong. I'm Angela. This is Logan, and we are very official directors of Nerdsmith, and we are also friends, and we also are your afternoon lunch break distraction while we talk about random stuff. We love D&D, we love role-playing games in general, we love Nerdsmith, so we talk about Nerdsmith news, and we talk about all sorts of crap. And you are here because you wish to chat with us. Our lines are open if you'd like to call in on the chat line. And so we're just gonna talk.
That was
for
weird.
a while.
You did a weird thing there.
Yeah, I know. They don't all land. It's fine.
That's all right.
So how are you today?
Tired. But
yeah.
I'm getting a lot of rest and also tired. I don't know what to do. Here's the funny thing, that my life didn't change much with all this coronavirus stuff. You know, I've been this stay-at-home dad, and I've been working from home, and it's like I really not much change other than my wife is now here too, and yet somehow everything has changed. It's very strange.
There's a mood.
There's a mood.
There's a mood.
It's okay.
We hope you all are doing well today.
Yeah.
If you want to sound off in chat and just let us know how you're doing, we'd love to know, because we like you all. So yeah. It's a Wednesday, so current events include shenanigans last night. Hooray!
Woo!
We had a fun time. We had a very fun time last night.
Episode.
Last night was super fun. I'm very pleased with how this campaign is going, and I love our characters. Mike just weaponizes everything he says, or rather, everything he says is weaponized to make us feel something dramatic, whether that's good feelings or bad feelings. He's just a master. I didn't think what I was doing was gonna intrinsically harm another person.
It's called karma.
You're
using it. Yeah, you're using it as sending a message.
I was intimidating, and I was trying to intimidate somebody, and my pride made me make a decision. My Curie's pride made her make a decision, and it bit her in the butt. Because no one wants to be responsible for hurting the teddy bear's feelings. Oh, goodness gracious. So anyway, yeah, Shenanigans is really awesome. We'll have it up this week on VOD, so if you want to catch up before next week, please feel free. We are in the middle of our special event week, but Power Hour is the same. So there's some cool stuff. I gotta talk to Matthew Siebert. We're gonna have trivia night tomorrow. Ooh. So we got to work on our logistics about what we're going to do, and if we're going to have guests or if we're going to have the chat do it, and we don't know yet. Matthew did also just propose a really fun idea.
Which one?
Do a choose your own adventure together using, and someone said using the polling feature in Twitch to vote on what your decision is.
Cool.
That could be very, very fun. Oh, hi, Overlord. I'm sorry you're having
Overlord.
Rough time.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a tough thing there. Sounds like you need World Anvil.
Yeah, I'm always making up stuff in the middle of the night. It's just I'm a night owl, so it's just where things are happening in my brain is when my husband goes to sleep and I go, oh, I gotta do something. But I've been feeling relatively productive, which is good.
Awesome.
I'm working on a commission right now, a Twitch stream commission, which is very cool. I forgot to announce this week that I was taking Twitter schedule commissions. If people wanted to have a pinned post on their website, or on their Twitter rather, I was willing to design custom schedule pages for people. But I am working on a commission right now, and it's looking very, very cool. And I applied for a job, which I'm very excited about.
That's awesome.
Well, fingers crossed. It would be very cool. And yeah, so doing that stuff. Doing some art. I don't have my show and tell with me, but I am working on those mannequin heads that I'm making for hat stands. I just got a coat of spray paint on both of them, and the one that is not Syl from Countless Heroes is I sprayed it in, after coating it to protect the styrofoam, I sprayed it in this gritty sort of stone texture paint, which apparently reacted in a way I hadn't anticipated. The face looks fine, but the back is craggy and melted and so badass.
Didn't get sealed.
I'm like, oh man, this looks amazing. So I kept it and I sealed it, and it looks awesome. It just looks like a melted, craggy person. Kyle recommended I accent it with some purple, so it looks like they're being treated for air shale poisoning.
Oh, that's neat.
Or for, what do we call it? I don't remember what we called it. Something shale. It was the bad stuff.
I don't remember.
Literally, Kyle said it yesterday, and I forgot. Anyway, so yeah, they look really, really cool. I'm excited. So I should have those. I'll show those off when I finish them. That I'll have Syl's hat
Blight
on
shale.
it, and it'll be Blight shale. Thank you, Tessa. Yeah. So that's basically what it looks like. It looks like a Goa that has been taken over by Blight shale. It's really neat. So I will also be using that for a hat stand.
You can get special spray paint that doesn't do that. It's the accelerant inside the paint that does that to the styrofoam. So,
yeah.
It's just.
Well, I was trying to
or get a Wagner.
I had managed to seal Syl successfully. It was enough layers of Elmer's glue and Mod Podge that I had a very nice layer protecting her before I painted her. But I don't know what happened. I didn't do the back enough. I must not have done enough layers in the back. Or I was sanding it down and there was an opening or something. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, Overlord, air shale, EIR, was a material that we created for Countless Heroes that was like a sort of a, what do we call it? Kind of a MacGuffin-y sort of unobtainium. It had magical properties. It could be used for a bunch of things. And the Blight Shale was an introduction or an introduced plot point where there was a sort of infection
like rust.
That could.
It was like rust.
It rusted this mystical stone, and it was very dangerous to the species of people who were made of air shale. And so that was a very dramatic and creepy plot point during
basically
our
turned
West
it into
Marches
like
game.
almost like a cork-like substance.
Yeah, it just took away its magical
which then turned into a narcotic.
That whole storyline was amazing. I love the Goa. I'm so I love
the Goa is one of the best things to come out of Countless Heroes. Absolutely, 100%. I like all the races we did. We created 5 new races for it, but the Goa is absolutely hands down my favorite.
Yeah, I want to work with Tessa. You're here, Tessa. I want to work with Tessa on fleshing out the Nakosta a bit more. I think that would be fun. Just giving them something. The Nakosta became so integral to certain subplots during Countless that I fear that maybe it might be perceived by the few people who saw the show that's the only direction or that's the only storyline you could do with the Nakosta, and I want to kind of figure out other ways to do that without necessarily negating your canon, but just trying to come up with that. Neat. Very cool, Overlord. Speaking of working on D&D stuff, I do have a slight activity. I know Anne's in the chat. So I'm going to be guesting on D&D with the Banana Brothers coming soon, and on an episode. And I just got my character building rules. I think I just remembered what I wanted to play. I was looking through when I was joining her D&D Beyond campaign. I found a draft of a character that I had created, and I went, "Oh, this would be so fitting in the tone." So I think, yes, they're more like guidelines. But so I have the general the build guidelines for how to make my character, and I thought maybe it might be fun to brainstorm a little bit some of my stuff. So I myself have a few limitations, partly because D&D with the Banana Brothers is right up against Shenanigans. There's a tiny bit of overlap. So if I'm going to be ready for Shenanigans after D&D Banana Brothers, I need to basically be in Curie costume, or at least some of it. I need to have the makeup on. I can't be adding the makeup on just before Shenanigans. So I'm a little limited in she's got to be fancy. That's at least one rule. For me as a character. But I did come up with a fun concept that I just saw in D&D Beyond and remembered what my idea was. So it's just labeled Sneezy Dwarf. A draconic sorcerer, a draconic bloodline sorcerer. That is how the dragon's breath manifests. Like you've got allergies. And you just and I
You're allergic to bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that would be really funny to do that. So she's a dwarf and maybe has some kind of allergy, and so if folks haven't seen the Draconic Sorcerer Bloodline, you choose a type of dragon you're associated with, and then you gain features later that have to do with the type of dragon you descend from. So I picked a silver dragon for now. And so yeah, there's some things you get as a draconic sorcerer that include part of your skin is covered in that color scales. And you get a non-armored AC bonus because you've got these scales on your body. And you get an increased like hit point, and I believe you get at some point, maybe not at level 5, which is what I'm building, you get some either an attack or you get a resistance to a particular thing. Oh god, allergic to magic. I will have to double check through the character build to see if there is a breath weapon. I don't think I get one at this level, if ever. But in the event that I did, I would definitely manifest it as a sneeze. And minimum, if I don't have an ability like that, I'm still gonna be sneezing, and there will be like a hint of the thing that happens. So like a little puff of snow or something.
Right.
I think that would be fun. They get wings way later. Overlord, the wings come at 14th level, and I'm only building a 5 level. But the rules of my character are that I cannot have an intelligence over 6, because that is the rule of all the Banana Brothers. Yeah, that's true. I'll take a look at what my spell options are. I have a feeling maybe that's just something that the sorcerer might have access to. I'd have to double check. But the idea being that he or she would be one of the half siblings, I assume, and that I'm making, because of the intelligence limiter, I'm one of the half siblings in the group, in the party. Just like they come upon another sibling they didn't know about. The main overarching premise of Banana Brothers is that they were seeking out their father. They all share, and were like told to go seek him out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, she'd be a half sibling. If a femme identifying character is cool with you, and even anyone can be a Banana Brother regardless of gender. So yeah, it would be really fun, the idea of someone who just has a complete natural knack for magic, but has never really had to work hard on it. I enjoy that concept where it's just like you kind of just bullshit your way through. I don't know. It's kind of like, that is something that I personally identify with, that there are certain things that I have a knack for doing that I've never been trained for, and I'm not very good at like the crafting side of the thing, because I, like, for example, I can play ukulele and I can sing, I have really good pitch, I can do that. I've never been trained at all, and I can't read music. So my ceiling, like I hit the ceiling constantly of what I can actually do musically, because I can't read or write sheet music. And I don't really, I know how to play chords, but like I don't have that like, oh, I can hear that and I know what note that is, or I don't know, I can tell the difference, but I don't know the notes. Yeah, so I don't have enough training to have good breath control to do like really good singing. So it's one of those where it's like, Yeah, that's like what a sorcerer is. You can do shit, you can play around with it, you got
like
a
that,
natural
yeah.
inclination for it, but you were not trained in any way, shape, or form. No, Tessa, I can't read sheet music. I can read guitar tabs. I can write tabs and that sort of thing, but I cannot read sheet music. Andy, my husband, is the one who can read sheet music and can sight read that son of a bitch. He can sight read on the piano, and I'm very upset by this. He's still learning. Like he's not like I can immediately play something exactly. He has to work at it, but he can look at the sheet music and figure it out. His dad is like, he always likes to tell this story that he was in college and he walked onto the Glee Club, auditioned like off the street, and got a part in the Glee Club at his school. He's incredibly musically talented and can absolutely sight read and just play things at the right pace and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. And having another brother, secret, another brother looking into a draconic sorcerer offshoot. Yeah, giving an example of what that would look like, and that would be neat. I like that. I'm very excited. So the idea is a fancy dwarf who has a draconic bloodline on the other side of the family, and has never really had to work very hard to be good at the thing she's good at, and is kind of uninterested in getting. I'm thinking she's kind of uninterested in like studying to get better. She's just, I'll just wing it. It's fine. I'll figure it out. And because I'm fancy dwarf, I might bust out my mid-Atlantic, my like, oh dear, we're gonna talk about things now. It's gonna be wonderful.
That works.
I will. Okay, so I'll talk about what she looks like. I might need to. There will probably be pin curls involved, and I'll just let you know. Like 40s curls. I'll think about it. I'll have to get you the details. I'll think about it after stream, because I need isolation to truly embrace my character. I'm just really bad at coming up with shit on the spot when it comes to character design, because I take so much care doing it. I'm like, I have to think really hard about this stuff. Plus I need to be able to like half cosplay it, so I gotta think about it. But yeah, that'll be fun. All right, so draconic sorcerer, dwarven sorcerer with a draconic bloodline. And I don't have a name for her yet.
I like it.
Hooray! D&D is fun. I haven't gotten to make a new... Oh, I know you have a Cockney Goblin. I live with the Cockney Goblin. I hear it all the time. In fact, he practiced with me because I have a Cockney Goblin, and so we were practicing together to learn our accents. Andy, Logan, you know that Andy just basically made him Larimore, right? Like,
I did. That sounds
the
about
tone
right.
just sounds like that. It's really, really fun. So yeah, that's the newest news, is that I'm going to be guesting on Banana Brothers. Banana Brothers airs, and can you put your schedule down in the chat for me real quick? They aired on Tuesday nights before Shenanigans on Kajari's channel. I believe it's just Kajari now on Twitch. And yeah, so you should check them out. They're wonderful. A bunch of goofy boys with very low intelligence and lots of questionable plans. So yeah, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, please check them out. Anne is wonderful. Kajari is a friend of the network, and we are super, super happy to have her in the extended Nerdsmith family. So yeah. Sorry, I really dig this song. Oh, so other show and tell news. I bought ears
for
a cosplay I want to do.
Orange?
They look okay when I put hair on.
Oh, okay.
When they're separated from my face, they don't look that different. They are technically Link cosplay ears, but I'm gonna turn them into a halfling because they're kind of
Link or Zelda.
Link.
Does Link have pointy ears?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both elves.
I didn't know Link had pointy ears.
Yep, they are both elves.
No clue.
So yeah, they're halfling. Because I don't know if I showed you. I might have. I bought.
No. Mm-mm.
I bought these.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because, and I thought the eye looked hilarious like this. And if I really want to get serious, like I want to threaten somebody.
Love it.
But I am going to use these for painting. They're pretty great. They let you see very close, and then they have 2 layers of magnification. So I'm very excited to actually start painting with them a little bit. But I have to. I've said this multiple times now that my dwarf. Well, she doesn't read. Why would she need glasses? So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about them. Oh, because it's green. You can't really see it, but yeah, they were link ears. And they came in a shield, like a shield shape. It was very fun. I'll keep workshopping her personality. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm doing a lot of TikTok cosplay, so I'm getting to play around a little bit with makeup and costuming and editing and performance. So that's a fun way to kind of keep my chops. And I am a recurring but possibly soon to be upgraded to regular cast member on a show on Susanna Grace's Twitch channel. Grains of Truth is a Witcher TTRPG show, and I've been playing another dwarf on that show. I've been playing a dwarven bard named Ruby, who is a useless lesbian, and I rolled a 33 last night to lie to somebody about being a poor mother who lost her son in the hospital and needed help, and it was very fun. They're like, yeah, you just whatever you want to say, it goes over. It's fine. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very excited. It's got Susanna Grace, and Jason from the network is the DM, and he's fabulous. Lydia is a Scottish DM. She runs D&D in like a sewer, like in real life, like an old underground vault thing. And when you're allowed to go outside, she runs games in this like creepy underground spot in Scotland.
Oh,
it's awesome. Or no, she lives in Austria, but she's from Scotland. But yeah, there's some really, really cool people on that stream. If you like the Witcher lore and the universe, some of those people are monsters. They're so knowledgeable, and they can just improv the hell out of that world in a way that I can't even begin to do. I just love watching them RP half the time. And then I'm just a chucklefuck that runs in and hits on people and goofs off. So I'm a bard. Just to be clear, I am a bard. So yeah. So I'm very excited about that. We're every other week though. So this week we had an episode, and then 2 weeks from now we'll have another episode. I really want it to go weekly though. They're really fun. It's in the afternoons on Tuesday. So yeah, you can check it out on Susanna Grace's channel. She's really cool. The topic for today was let's build a character for Banana Brothers and then just shoot the shit, I think.
We actually had a topic.
Yeah, not a real structured thing today.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Like ever. But let's see. What are we doing? I have not gotten a chance to go back over that alternate rules for multi-classing. That was something I had been meaning to do, but have not gotten a chance to go back to. But I did find a cool fun homebrew on DM's Guild the other day called 20 Uncommon Magic Rings. So it's like a magic item book.
Cool.
There's a magical roll or a random roll table. One that's really fun is the Ring of Canary. It makes light squawking noises unless there is a monster within 60 feet of it.
Okay, so there's a constant squawking noise?
It gives disadvantage to stealth checks, but gives advantage to perception checks to find the specific monster it's detecting.
All right.
Did I forget to mention that this is oh, well, I thought these were useless rings, but no, there's a bunch of stuff. A ring of comprehend desire is fun. 3 times a day you can comprehend the most pressing desires of a humanoid creature. You must share a language and be within 60 feet of them, but you can sense, like, what do you want the most right now? Or what are you most concerned with? So it's sort of Ring of Mind reading, except it's specifically about what is it you seek? What is it you're really, like, trying to get?
Now, is it in the moment or like overall?
The most pressing desires. So the thing right now that is like it's probably open to a bit of interpretation of, like, is it long term? Is it short term? I guess it really just depends on what is most pressing. So I guess it's in the immediacy of it. Okay, how to incorporate items that could break your game, but not break your game. So deck of many things.
That is an interesting question. That's a tough one.
We've done the deck in a lot of different ways before, in a neat way. One of which is a bit of a fiddling with the idea of it being completely random. I've seen a few DMs, including Matt Colville does this, where you kind of curate what's actually available in the deck. You decide
Matt Colville doesn't curate. He flat out cheats.
He sleight of hand 100%
flat out cheats, and that was going to be my recommendation with the deck of many things, is to flat out cheat.
Part of it is the characters don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to rely on the actual randomness. If in the world it's random, you still have control over that. So that could be the way that you do that. And it's almost if you need justification for it, it's destiny, right? You are the master of the destiny of that world, and therefore you can direct it to be a specific thing.
Yeah.
So, but some people are like, no, I want to see what happens, and they'll just let the whole deck. There is no wrong way to play with the deck of many things. It is purely
but there are game-breaking ways to play with the deck of many things.
Sure, but you set the parameters by which you are comfortable risking your game.
Some items that I really feel like they fixed a lot of in 5th edition. If you do not use any of the interpretations of the way that was in 3.5. The Ring of Wishes, I no longer have any problems giving the Ring of Wishes to my players, because 9 times out of 10, they're just going to use it to duplicate a spell they just desperately need in the moment.
Healing or...
which very often, and there's a few effects they can do which work, but as with the new interpretations, the rules and the new worlds that they are, the way they are, there's a lot of risk involved in using a wish spell for anything beyond that, and I really like that.
Okay, so Anne just inspired me with something. Anne says, I've given my players cursed items where the curse is just having it for a limited time or makes it less powerful. I have to homebrew a lot of things in my game because 3/4 of my players are DMs and they have a lot of D&D knowledge. What about the idea of a cursed item having a pretty dramatic curse on it, and the player doesn't get to choose to have it, but it's not a permanent effect? Like, the item is having a temper tantrum about being bound to another person again. And so it's acting out, and if you can power through it, it chills out after a little while and just becomes the positive. I think that would be pretty funny.
Maybe.
I like sentient items that like to act up. I think that's fun. But yeah, the idea that the curse is something they do not have a choice about, but it is not permanent, and you do get the sense that it's like every day it's getting a little less, so you're like, okay, you just gotta endure it, you just gotta check, you gotta keep powering through, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, like getting over a cold or something. Oh, that's fun. So some of the other rings I'm finding in here. A ring of comprehend a language.
Okay.
You comprehend a standard language of the DM's choice or randomly rolled. You just... Hey, guess what? You can speak Elvish now.
Okay.
Ring of Dash is fun. Twice per long rest, you can dash as a bonus action. Dark Vision. there literally is a speak and understand Elvis, and you get to use the trance ability instead of sleeping. That's kind of cool. Ring of Elf Kind. Ring of Monster Hunter. It can silver 1 weapon or 10 pieces of ammo once per day. Oh, okay, so I'm just getting a cool visual for that. Like, you have the ring, and when you use it, it looks like the ring is melting. Like when you make bullets out of pewter, like musket bullets, it would just melt onto the item you were silvering, but you'd still have the ring on.
That's a neat idea.
That's a fun visual. Comprehend Elvis? I mean, he did do that weird lip thing, and it was a little hard to parse what he said sometimes.
So that just I don't know how I would use it. I think it might be a Wheel of Causality or something. There is a I think it's became popular, although that's not the first place I'd seen it, but it became popular in the Adventure Zone. There was an item that allowed you to change 1 letter in a spell to turn it into a different spell.
It was so good. It was so good.
Again, not the first time I'd seen it, but I'm thinking now that needs to be something that the audience can do in our game.
Change a letter in a spell.
In either a spell or something that's said, and we'll apply it. So I gotta figure out how to incorporate that.
So there's some really neat, these rings are fabulous. There's some really cool ones in here. One inspires me a little bit. The Ring of Leadership. When you're attuned to it, you gain the knight background, you gain the knight's leadership ability. So the idea of a ring or a magic item that gives you a feature from a background, that would be kind of cool. You pick a background feature that you think is neat, and that's the thing the ring does. So you gain a certain kind of knowledge, you gain a certain kind of ability based on a background or a subclass, or in this case it's a knight NPC from the monster manual. I'm actually not sure what their leadership ability is. But that's kind of neat to give someone a sort of minor that's not, I don't want the DMG, I want the monster manual. And of course, I didn't do it right. My monster manual doesn't... I have the monster manual, but I also have a PDF of the monster manual, because sometimes I just need to look at it digitally, and it only opens in Chrome, and not in...
Thank you, the real R3 play.
Thank you. Was that a follow?
Yes. I don't know what the R3 play is.
That's very nice of you.
What is R3 play?
Okay, so the leadership ability that the knight has. So this ring gives you this ability once you're attuned to it. For 1 minute, the knight can utter a special command or a warning whenever a non-hostile creature that can see it in 30 feet makes an attack roll or a saving throw. The creature can add a D4 to its roll if it can hear and understand the knight. A creature can benefit from 1 leadership die at a time. So basically, it's a mini inspiration. That's cool. Like, it's a D4 inspiration that you can use. That's what the leadership is. It's on an attack roll or a saving throw. That's actually really cool. That's a fun little, a little bonus thing you can give to someone. And that would do a lot to develop a character's personality or behaviors during combat. To suddenly be like, hey, you have a bonus action now that you can help rally your troops. And someone who might have been a frontline fighter with a bonus action might find that very... interesting and in a different direction than they weren't expecting of something that they might do during combat. I think that's kind of cool. I'm really, really into that Monster Hunter melting ring idea, though.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Chat is making me feel very old right now.
Uh-huh.
Question here. What kind of punishment would you see gods giving a wizard who used a spell called Plane Server, which does exactly what it sounds like? No,
Plane
I like
server. I'm doing a land
here's
party
your plane.
Gods.
It's a Boeing 747.
Oh my god. I meant like computer server. So it's like playing a LAN party in the celestial plane.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's the other thing was like, okay, they're gonna go and do. So plane server. Well, if they sever the celestial plane, then the gods can't do anything. So works for me.
Well, I mean, what if when the spell goes off, there is sort of this divine ripple effect that happens, that every divine person who worships gods got a vision of this person that did it. So every cleric and paladin now lost the access to their gods and knows exactly whose fault it is. That'd be kind of intense, but could be fun.
Yeah, I would say that is not something.
Oh, so it's not severing all the planes. It's pick a plane and you sever the connection to it.
Yeah, that's what I.
So
that's
the
how I
gods. Okay, so the gods. So the gods. They know that the wizard severed Mechanus from the rest of the world. And what would they do to that wizard? Okay, not enough people have probably been on TikTok before, but I feel like there's this guy who brings in people to the House of Vibes for their vibe check, and they basically judge the person. I feel like they would maybe a trial could be a fun thing if you wanted to do a sub story of like you get taken to a realm where you are judged. That could certainly be a storyline. Where the wizard has to explain themselves and justify what they did. You could have an atonement thing. You could say that the gods are like, well, we can't undo what you did, but from now on, you're going to spend the rest of your existence making up for what you just did. Therefore, you are now at the service of all of us. We're going to trade you around like a pack of cigarettes. And they get that was a terrible reference, I'm sorry, but the idea that the gods then say, we're gonna trade you around. When we need you to do something for us, you have to do it. You're now you owe us for what you did. So every so often they change you could do all sorts of things to mess with that wizard. Then you pick a god, you pick an alignment, you pick a type of god, and then you suddenly start messing with their magic. Their magic starts expressing in different ways. They start hearing a voice or having visions or something. Like basically you turn them into a divine wizard. Yeah, you have to serve every god now, and they just take turns calling upon them for service. I think that's a incredibly interesting character to then have to spend the rest of their existence doing that.
Yeah.
If you have any sense of context for why they separated Mechanus, that might also help with some brainstorming. Because was it like for the greater good? Was it a selfish act? Was it just like, oops?
Like, I guess it also comes down to what consequences came from that.
That's true. What does severing Mechanus actually result in? What is the what's the fallout from that? So yeah, I think that's a very interesting plot line to have happened. Huh. This is a cool ring that I found. Okay, so it was hubris and pride. They wanted to prove that they could do it. Yeah, absolutely. I think the gods would go, you need to learn how to act on other people's interest, and because of that, you now have to serve us. I think that's a legit punishment. Like, you're gonna spend the rest of your existence figuring out how to atone for this. We don't know if you can, but you're gonna try. And then it's up to you how they enforce that.
Or sending them on a quest to try to fix it.
Mm-hmm, that's true too. Your immortal soul is at risk here, buddy. We control where that soul goes, so you might want to fix this or you're not gonna like where you end up. Kind of thing. So yeah, immortal punishment as maybe a threat to that character.
Yeah.
It seems like the character needs to get taken down a peg by some divine beings. That really does bring up an interesting point that we've talked about before. High-level characters that start achieving that level of power. Where's the balance? Is there a balance? Do the gods go, whoa, 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 get a little big for your britches here, son? Or are they as fallible as the heroes that get that powerful, and they're like, yeah, that's how we did it. We were adventurers once, and then we got elevated. I always am very intrigued by that aspect of divinity in fantasy. The idea that someone could ascend, and that's sort of... It lends a little bit more credence for the idea of what we had talked about before, the gods being sort of factions in a world. If they used to be people, then politics and factions is a concept that they're very familiar with, and it would make sense that they would naturally fall into that idea. Yeah, friends. I get you. Yeah, saints would be an interesting aspect, like demigods. Or the idea that there's an all-powerful, like, energy, maybe not ascension, or maybe not like something that speaks to you, but like that overarching creator, kind of like in Countless Heroes where the Dragon Mother was sort of a thing, but became more of a personified force later. But yeah, the idea that the gods, quote unquote, that people worship are actually more like saints. They are ascended beings that follow the goal of sort of balance and order, or just maintaining the world such as it is. And so they are not necessarily gods in the sense of like ultra super, like I created the universe gods, but more like that idea of a demigod, or a, you know, very high level, like a level 30 hero could be a god,
right,
that somebody worships. Yeah, I think that's cool. Oh, I want this. Okay, so 2 more rings, and I'll drop this. This is very cool, though. If you look up uncommon magic rings, you can find it on DM's Guild. Ring of Thaumaturgy. I love Thaumaturgy so much. That's a fun spell. Andy is a prestidigitation. He's a sucker for prestidigitation, but I really dig Thaumaturgy.
It's got a lot of cool things.
Especially since you and I talked about a long, long time ago, justifying the difference between prestidigitation, thaumaturgy, and druidcraft, about the origins of those things, if you're going to talk about where that power comes from, and the idea that thaumaturgy, written in the book, not a lot of people look at that flavor text and really internalize the idea that thaumaturgies are like miracles. They are acts that show that you are in service to a higher power. So that idea of like, the best example I have of it is like Gandalf in the first Lord of the Rings, when he like gets bigger and like the room gets darker and his voice starts booming, that like proving that you have the power that you need. Prestidigitation is not quite that. Prestidigitation is more of the little things that you learn in magic school, the little sleight of hand, the little poofs of smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
And then druidcraft is you sort of beseeching nature just a little to do a little bit of something for you. It's a asking for a gift. Whereas prestidigitation is a minor example of your own power, and then thaumaturgy is you channeling something through you. That flavor difference between the 3 is always very... Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you, Overlord. Just like you said. But I just... There are things about the spells and the nature of spells that I have, in the past, really enjoyed. When you're DMing and you want to give that flavor in your narration, or you want to make your players feel what they're doing, not just like, yeah, you set that thing on fire. You want to give it kind of more gravitas. Yeah, tapping into the narrative descriptions from the book, or however you choose to express them, is a really good tool to make everything feel a little more impressive or epic. Like, you want to give that little bit of flavor about what is it like to cast that thing. Can really lend a lot of that can really impact your players a lot to place more importance on what they're doing, even if, you know, it's just on a list of things they can do. Sometimes they can take for granted what they're actually capable of achieving, because they're just like, oh yeah, well, I can make fire, let's do it. But if you want to really like kind of make them lean into the world more and like feel what they're experiencing or what they're doing, it can be very cool to lean into the spell descriptions and where it's coming from and what it feels like to do that. And I've done that a couple times with I did that in a one shot where a character was, what was he doing? Speaking to stone or something. He was doing something. He was a druid, and he was doing something where he was like trying to feel out what was going on, and he like melded into stone. That's what he was doing. He was trying to see if he could connect with the earth by melding into stone and just kind of meditating in there. And so I gave him this really neat description of how he was kind of feeling the tectonic motion of the earth because he was in that space. And it was really, really neat. You could see it on his face how engaged he was by that description, because what seemed like I'm just going to go fact finding suddenly became no, this is how you connect to the world. This is that like higher level view you suddenly have. This is why you're a druid. You understand how to speak to the earth itself. And so it became this very, like, it had a lot of gravitas to it, and that was very fun to play around with. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool, Overlord. I love fun descriptions and fun expressions of spells. Make them just feel more like, well, I don't want a spell to always feel like I throw a magic ball at it. I throw a bullet made of magic. Making it feel a bit more visceral and different, and the idea that magic spells, I love the idea that wizards learn from lots of different things. Like, they learn from lots of different elements, they learn from lots of different schools. The concept of a spell having the same final effect, like, yes, it does 3d6 fire damage, but the way it gets there could be very different depending on the wizard. They visualize it differently, it manifests differently for that person because of the arcane hand gestures they learn to do it. So the 3d6 fire damage expresses in some other way while still resulting in the same basic effect.
Right.
So I love doing that with spellcasters. It'd be really easy to do it if you had a small party, because then you could spend more time on that flavor text. You don't always have time to do that during combat when there's like 6 people. But when you have smaller groups, or when you're private and not streaming, you can really like lay into those descriptions, and then you're kind of dragging out sessions too. It's a good way to fill time. Which I very much appreciate. So what are you doing, Logan?
Good.
7. I've been talking up a storm.
It's okay. Just trying to read through chat here.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's such a cool idea. Sort of time magic, and what you're tapping into is like primordial elements from the history of the world, and that's what you're evoking. Oh, that's a neat flavor of that. Very, very cool. Oh, I'm very inspired today. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, you got some good stuff. I like that.
The last ring I wanted to describe, the Ring of Undead Constitution. Once per long rest, if you are reduced to 0 hit points, you can make a con save with a DC of 5 plus the damage you took, unless the damage is radiant or from a critical hit. And on a success, you drop to 1 instead of 0. So you have a tiny chance to drop to 1 instead of 0.
Oh, I like that.
That's fun. So yeah, I love reading through item ideas. I am not right now, but some point this year I'm going to get back to a novel I was writing, and I am very much inspired by D&D, like the D&D books when it comes, or the handbooks and stuff, when it comes to magic and like what's possible. So usually I like build a character in D&D, and then I think, okay, what are the limitations? What can they do? What kind of spells can they cast? And then I try to figure out how to kind of mutate that into the magic that my story has. I know it's kind of cribbing off of stuff that's already been made, but I do think it makes it perhaps a little more accessible to someone if I like figure out the rules. I play around with the rules, of course, but but it gives me a fun idea, like, okay, this person is a bard. A bard can heal, a bard can inspire, a bard can do some of this other stuff. So that's kind of the wheelhouse set.
Wheelhouse,
Not
yeah.
the same thing, different thing of that character. But one of the things I'm playing around with right now is this idea of, I came up with this before I heard Taz too. Relics of power that do stuff and get into the wrong one, and then you have to take the thing away from them because they're causing problems with it. It's a MacGuffin thing. It's not. That's new. It's fine. Before Taz, it happens after Taz. But I was coming up with these cool magic items that were being held by people and being misused or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with a harp that like does psychic damage that like will just, you'll see, like, think about like that anime effect where there's like that sharp line, like, my head. But like it can just kill people with the wrong sour note.
Yeah, no, I like that.
It's really creepy. I was very pleased with it. I
think it should be extra effective on bards. Or anybody musically inclined, because every time Tessa hears an off note, she almost dies. So,
are you having connection problems? This keeps buffering for me.
Not on my end.
Okay, it might be just me then. Anyway,
done.
So I'm playing around with this idea for a novel I'm writing. And I'm excited by making stuff like that. I haven't really played around with potions much, but I have been playing around with healing magic, and I'm very upset by it. In the best way. The idea that healing magic, at least the stuff that's being expressed, was literally you feel like, say, so the example I have is somebody gets a huge like somebody gets a really bad shoulder injury, and the healer can kind of fix it quick, but it's rough and painful and won't really sit well. You have to, the idea that healing magic takes time, and in order to like get rid of a scar, you have to take a lot of time and delicate energy to heal the thing well. And it's like, no, we got to get this done quick. And so the character who's injured, just feels the scar tissue being formed, and she can't move her shoulder very well afterwards because it was a really quick, like, okay, we got to fix this now. And then another time getting like a face injury and then having someone heal it, and there's still a very big scar, but you like kind of feel the skin kind of forming. So it was very visceral with the way I was describing healing magic. It's not like a pleasant, light and airy thing. It's like, no, this is quick and dirty. This is like actual medicine. It's not. Just because they're not using stitches or something doesn't mean that it's not unpleasant. Ooh, neat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you and I are on the same page here.
I like that. It's neat.
Oh, that's a good call, though. There's a difference between damage and pain. That really lends itself well to people who might just have like chronic injuries that last. It's like, you're gonna feel this for the rest of your life. You're gonna limp a little. It's not because of lack of motion. It hurts, and that's gonna take a long time to heal. Yeah,
exactly.
The wound might be gone, but it's an invisible injury at this point, and I think that's a very palpable issue for someone to have. That'd be really interesting. So we chatted a lot about D&D today. We don't do that all the time anymore.
Yeah, no, we chatted about random stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for kind of keeping us on topic today, Overlord. I appreciate you stopping by. So we're just about done with our show. We got about 5 minutes left, so I figured we'd hit the cash corner. So really quick overview. Yes, I need to save those, Overlord. Those are cool potion ideas or spells. Soothe, lower pain, and release pain. So that's that other aspect of injury. That's very cool. So we are move the cloud up. We're covered by the captions.
I did, but it didn't update.
Oh no. Anyway, so we are the Power Hour. I'm Angela, this is Logan. We are part of the Nerdsmith network, which is a group of creators that are making nerdy content, podcasts, live streams, online TTRPG content, things like that. There's a whole bunch of us. You can find more about us at nerdsmith.org. We are also, as you all are, hanging in there. We're doing our best. Some of our creators, though, have lost a lot in the quarantine measures. They've lost hours or wages, or some of them have even lost their jobs, and so we are trying our best to support them with how we can, and the best way we have is by making content and putting it out there and hoping that our audience enjoys it enough to consider donating and helping to support them. So we right now have our Nerd Network Relief Fund. The Network Relief Fund is going to be a pool of funds that we have been already collecting from ourselves and from our audience to help support those who are in most dire need. We have our creators are their parents, and they are single people who live by themselves. They are from all walks of life and all situations, and some of them just need a little bit of a leg up right now, and we want to give what we can to help. So this week, the rest of our special events this week are going to have any Streamlabs donations, which Streamlabs you can find in the Tip This Show underneath our video here. If you go there and donate, anything during our special events are going to go to our emergency fund for creators. So please consider donating. And our plans are, you can find us on Twitter. I will post our schedule for this week. We have a couple more events happening, including Trivia Night hosted by Matthew Siebert from the network. And Friday we will have Fireside Chad. Chad is the GM podcast Chaotic Goodness. He's awesome. He is also a licensed mental health professional, and he joined last week on stream to chat a little bit about strategies for coping with what's going on right now and how to take care of yourself mentally and just kind of keep your spirits up a bit. And he's going to continue that conversation this week. I believe he's going to have a bit of a discussion on depression and how to manage your mental health during this time of isolation and stress and fear and uncertainty. So Chad did an incredible job last week, and I'm very excited to have him back this week to talk to everyone. He takes questions in chat, and so if you'd like to join him, that's going to be on Friday. Let me add our schedule so that you can see that. Just got to scroll down a bit, and there it is. So here's our schedule for this week, and please join us. Also on Friday, the most exciting thing we're doing, Nerdsmith Sings Its Heart Out. We are playing Twitch Sings, which is the karaoke app that is native to Twitch. Me and a few of the other directors, and possibly Logan if we make enough money. And if we make a certain level, Logan, I don't know if Logan's in character as Pugnut the Goblin or just Logan.
No, it's Pugnut the Goblin. I'm sure
okay,
not singing.
So Logan's NPC is going to be performing in karaoke if we can hit a certain tier at that night. So please join us at 7 p.m. Pacific for Twitch Sings. We had a demo last week and it was very, very fun. We had a good time, so we're going to keep doing it because we love karaoke, apparently, and have a very good time with it. So please hang out with us for karaoke on Friday. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Two more things. Our sponsors, our incredible sponsors that do a heck of a lot to help support the network and keep us running as well. They are incredibly cool and gracious and generous people. Die Hard Dice. They make polymer and metal dice sets as well as dice accessories. Very high quality, very kind people. They're always going above and beyond for their customers and for the people that love their creations. So please check them out at dieharddice.com. If you would like and you haven't used our code yet, we have a code DRPG. Discover RPG was our previous name. DRPG will get you 15% off your next purchase on dieharddice.com, or your first purchase if you haven't used it yet. So please go check it out. And if you find something and use our code for it, show us on Twitter. We're really excited by their content and their products. So please share. That's dieharddice.com. And our other sponsor is World Anvil. World Anvil is an amazing campaign management software. It is over 500,000 users strong at this point. You can make a wiki basically for your world building, whether you're a TTRPG storyteller or you're a fiction writer. If you have a world that is elaborate and deserving of articles and maps and family trees, and they just put an organizational chart in there. There's a bunch of really cool stuff you can do to express aspects of your world and share it with your friends, your fellow creators, and your audience. So please check them out at worldanvil.com. You can sign up for free, try out all their features, or try out a ton of their features. If you want to unlock all their features or get some neat customization options, you can become a guild member for a very short amount per month. You can check them out at worldanvil.com. So those are our sponsors. We, once again, are part of the Nerdsmith network. We are Angela, and this is Logan, because I apparently am the royal we. And we are here every Wednesday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on We Are Nerdsmith Twitch. And please join us next week. We had such a good time this week. Is our bot working, Logan, that I can put the end info? Okay, let me check. Yes. All right, friends. That's all for us today. We hope to see you here next week. If you'd like to join us on Discord, the link is there in our feed right now, and we just hang out and chat and have a good time. It's a safe place to go hang out. We've limited our quarantine and COVID-19 conversations to a specific channel, so you can mute it and be kind of insulated from it if you want, or if you want to talk to people and kind of vent and goof around and cope. You can just go into that channel and commiserate with everybody. So we hope to see you there, and we really hope to see you next week. Please, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a safe and wonderful rest of your week. And please do us a favor and be good to each other. Bye.
Bye.